Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Vrindavana Dham. Jaya Radha Sham Sundar Radha Sham Sundar Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Reading from Srila Prabhupada, Your Ever Well-Wisher, by His Holiness Satswarup Maharaj. So we continue with the chapter Uniting Two Worlds. When Prabhupada received news of the book distribution in Los Angeles and elsewhere in the United States, he was very pleased and amazed. Although involved with many affairs from throughout the world, he put them aside and relished the overwhelming victory of book distribution in America. Immediately he called in his personal secretary and dictated letters. My dear Rameshwar, I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated December 27, 1972, and with great happiness I have read your figures of amount of books sold during 3-day period. December 22 to 24, 1972. It is scarcely believable that more than 17,000 books could have been sold by one temple in 3 days. That indicates to me that people are at last becoming a little serious about this Krishna consciousness movement in your country. Otherwise, why they should buy our books? But they can see that our boys and girls devotees are so much sincere and serious to distribute message of Krishna consciousness. They are at once struck by seeing them, and therefore they appreciate and purchase. This is unique in the world. So I am so much pleased upon all the boys, upon of all the boys, all of the boys and girls in Los Angeles and all over the world who are understanding and appreciating this unique quality of our transcendental literature, and voluntarily they are going out to distribute despite all circumstances of difficulty. By this effort alone, they are assured to go back to home, back to Godhead. The same day, Prabhupada dictated a letter to Karandhar. I could never have thought it was possible to distribute so many of our literatures. Therefore, I can understand it is simply Krishna's blessing us for your sincerely working on his behalf. Actually, that is the secret of my success. Not that personally I have done anything wonderful, but that because those who are helping me are sincere. They have done the work. That is the reason for our success all over the world, where others have failed. A little sincerity is a very difficult thing in this age of hypocrisy and bluff. But I'm so fortunate that Krishna has sent me all of you nice boys and girls who are sincerely working. Please convey to all of them my deepest appreciation. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. So we continue our study of Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, chapter 16, and today's text is text 56. Ubhayam smarata pumsa prasvapa pradibodaye anveti vyatirichetya tajjnanam brahmatat param. Ubhayam smarata pumsa prasvapa pratibodayo अन्वेति व्यतिरिच्येत तज्ज्ञानं ब्रह्म तत्परम्. उभयं स्मरत पुंस प्रस्वाप प्रतिबोधयो अन्वेति व्यतिरेचेत तज्ज्ञानं ब्रह्म तत्परम्. उभयं स्मरत पुंस प्रस्वाप प्रतिबोधयो अन्वेति व्यतिरिच्येत तज्ज्ञानं ब्रह्म तत्परम्. उभयं स्मरत पुंस अन्वेति व्यतिरिच्येत तज्ज्ञानं ब्रह्म तत्परम्. उभयं स्मरत पुंस प्रस्वाप प्रतिबोधयो अन्वेति व्यतिरिच्येत तज्ज्ञानं ब्रह्म तत्परम्. Ubhayam, both types of consciousness, sleep and wakefulness. Smarata, remembering. Pumsa, of the person. Swapa, of consciousness during sleep. Pratibodhayo, and of consciousness while awake. Anveti extends through. Vyatirichyeta may reach beyond. Tat, that. Jnanam, knowledge. Brahma, the supreme Brahman. Tat, that. Param, transcendental. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki. If one's dreams during sleep are merely subject matters witnessed by the super soul, how can the living entity, who is different from the super soul, remember the activities of dreams? The experiences of one person cannot be understood by another. Therefore, the knower of the facts, the living entity, who inquires into the incidents manifested in dreams and wakefulness, is different from the circumstantial activities. That knowing factor is Brahman. In other words, the quality of knowing belongs to the living entities and to the Supreme Soul. Thus, the living entity can also experience the activities of dreams and wakefulness. In both stages, the knower is unchanged, but is qualitatively one with the Supreme Brahman. Purport. In knowledge, the living entity is qualitatively one with the Supreme Brahman, but the quantity of the Supreme Brahman is not the same as that of the living entity, who is part of Brahman. Because the living entity is Brahman in quality, he can remember the past activities of dreams and also know the present activities of wakefulness. वैराग्य विद्या निज भक्ति योगा शिक्षार्थमेक पुरुष पुराना श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीरधारी कृपाम्बुदीर्यतमहं प्रपद्ये मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारणम् वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we continue with our study, Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 10 to 6, chapter entitled King Chitraketu Meets the Lord. There are two things in life which occurs in everyone's life. Something as coincidence, something which we call as or understand as coincidence. And another is Krishna incidence. Now it depends where would we want to put ourselves. Someone who has not yet found his resolve in the practice of Krishna consciousness, for him or her, life will be full of coincidences, which will be more controlled or driven or influenced by the material nature, by the laws of karma, under the dictations of laws of karma, under the supervision of the demigods, Lord Brahma and others, and by one's material desires driven by the mind. Srimad Bhagavatam 5:18, I think we see King Rahugana, Raja Rahugana's dialogue with Bharat Maharaj. यस्येति अस्ति भगवती अकिंचन समासुते समासते सुर महद्गना हरौ अभक्तस्य कुतो महद्गना मनोरथेन अस्ति धावतो बहि हरौ अभक्तस्य कुतो महद्गुना haro, like taking away, taken away. Abhaktasya kuto mahadguna. Someone who has not yet found his resolve in the practice of Krishna consciousness, all the wisdom and intelligence is taken away. It's taken away as in it is very covered up. Then what happens? Mano rathena asti dhavato bahi. Then whatever one does, even pious activities, charitable work, but it is all driven by the mind. On the chariot of mind, mental platform, then one acts. So there is one like for us, life could be a complete story of coincidences, but one who is sheltered more so by a devotee of Krishna, then one can learn, understand that no, nothing is coincidence in this world. It is our lack of knowledge, lack of understanding that makes us believe or think that actually, oh, it's a coincidence. That's a good coincidence, no? Everything is under the direction, under the supervision, under the arrangement of Lord Shri Krishna. So, how can it be coincidence? But because I do not know, then I take things to be coincidence. And when I try to transfer myself practicing Krishna consciousness under the spiritual energy of Krishna, say under the direct love, care, shelter of Krishna, then I can see it's not a coincidence, it's an arrangement, it's a Krishna incidence. Like for young children, for them it may okay, where is food coming? It's coming from Tesco. Where is milk coming? Okay, coming from here. They don't know the workings of the society as such. But because they are taken depending on their parents, say on their guardians and taking shelter and all, so everything that arrangement is there and everything is being provided. They know okay, it's mom and dad supplying us. And if I have to ask anything, I can ask my mom and dad for it. So, translation a bit of again. If one's dreams during sleep are merely subject matters witnessed by the super soul, how can the living entity who is different from the super soul remember the activities of dreams? Our participation in this world is predominantly through our mind. Uh, This is a physical world of behavior, right? We engage, we interact, uh, and our participation in this world is heavily based on the mind mental platform. And the real problem or the biggest crisis in this world is this misidentification crisis. When the living entity, the soul proper, identifies with the body or identifies with the mind or identifies with any like material, mundane desires or attachment or understandings. As we see in the translation, the soul is completely aloof from matter. Soul does not know what is matter. Soul does not mix what to speak of, like, say, interacting or becoming, say, matter. Soul does not even come in contact with matter. But because of soul being a living entity, eh, and because of being wrongly considering to be a product of matter, wanting to load it, then wanting to load it over the material nature to independently enjoy of Krishna, then yes, the soul takes all these material coverings, all the material layers. Otherwise, the soul is completely aloof. Like the super soul is a witness, the soul can also just become a witness. That it is the modes which are playing everywhere, the modes of material nature are playing everywhere. And if we can learn how to detach, detachment is a great asset, it's a great weapon, it is a great quality. If we can learn to how to detach ourselves. See, all philosophical questions and answers are nicely catered in Bhagavad Gita. All life's philosophical questions and answers. And on this detachment, look at the magnanimity of Krishna. He spoke entire Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Then towards the end, Krishna asked Arjuna, okay, my dear Arjuna, have you listened to it with an attentive mind, with a peaceful mind? Now, are all your doubts being dispelled? Do you still have any confusion or any question? If so, then Krishna was willing, Prabhupada writes in the purport, Krishna was willing to again speak from the very beginning, or go more details, or any other questions Krishna was willing to continue or speak again from the very beginning. And then what Krishna says, okay, I have told you everything. uh, Now, yathe chesi tatha kuru. Do as you like. Do as you like. So Krishna is so detached that I've told you. Now you do as you like. You are free to act as you like. I've told you everything, and yet I've said, but I'm detached to it. And generally, for myself, I may tell someone at friends, work, family, or even I may take this, say, mm, kind of step beyond my limits and ask some devotee, okay, can you do it this way? Yes, okay, this is how things should function and all. And yeah, but feel free how you want to do it. But this is how it should function. And if the devotee doesn't kind of do the way perhaps I want it to be done, then I get a bit agitated. But Krishna, like, had Arjuna not fought, would Krishna have gone agitated? Krishna never becomes agitated because he is never materially overwhelmed. Krishna has plan A, plan B, plan C, D, all plans. Whatever situations, whatever permutation combinations we bring, Krishna has a resolve, a solution. Easy. Everything. So our whole journey in life, is like, see, the Bhagavad journey of Bhagavad Gita can be seen in different places, um, catering to the same message. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 3:27 to Arjuna, right? That uh, Prakriti kriyamanani guna karmani sarvasya ahankara vimudatma kartahamiti manyate. That the bewildered soul, bewildered by the modes of the material nature, consider himself to be the doer. But in actuality, all the activities are being carried out by the modes of material nature. So this is the wrong I, this is the wrong identity. This is the material identity, mundane identity, thinking oneself to be the body and further expansion from bodily platform. Ahankara vimood atma. Vimood we understand, right? Mood is someone who is say a bit dumb, someone who is thick-headed, say, or dumb, and vimood atma, very dumb. So vimood atma, the soul proper is actually pure, is divine. It does not mix with matter. But when it wrongly considers, misidentifies with the body, then yes, vimood atma. So karta ham iti manyate. Then he considers himself to be the doer and becomes very adamant. And one who is living in doer mentality, he is bound to suffer. He is going to suffer. One who lives in this doer mentality. So the whole, in a way, the journey of Bhagavad Gita, this is Krishna saying. And then in 11th chapter, text 33, Krishna says, na, Tasmat tvam uttishta, yuddho labasva, chitva satrum rajyam samridam bhoksham, mai eva ete nihitam purvam eva, nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. That Arjuna, now uh, get up and fight, win this glory, enjoy the kingdom, this flourishing kingdom. By my arrangement, by my prior arrangement, say everything is laid out. You just have to be an instrument. Just have to be an instrument in the will. That is the whole transition we want to do from doer mentality to instrument being mentality. Otherwise, if I am acting in doer mentality, then life will be full of coincidences, good, bad, all sorts of incidences. But if I am working as an instrument in the hands of the Lord, in the will of the Guru and Gaurang, then apparently it may appear, okay, this is very distressing. Apparently it may appear that this is tough. this is not correct. uh, But in reality, it is complete purification. It is very good. It is taking us, bringing us closer to Krishna. And how do we get that knowledge and wisdom to understand the difference between real and apparent? That is through devotee association. That is through Diksha Guru, devotee association, revealing our hearts and mind in confidence and checking, okay, what is for real and what is apparently real. See, someone who is, we are like knowingly ignorant. We know a bit of Krishna consciousness, but yet say ignorant. Knowingly ignorant. That is more dangerous than someone being just ignorant. So it is the soul proper who has the capacity to know things. That it says no, in the translation that knowing factor is Brahman. So that knowing factor, the soul proper, the soul has the capacity to know things, to think, feel, and will. But because of degraded consciousness or because of that power and wants to then load it over material nature. So the soul is not bad or the soul is not corrupt or the soul is not bound up, but the consciousness with which the soul interacts, then that is the problem. And the solution is what? This is why International Society for Krishna Consciousness or Prabhupada wrote some small books, as we say. One of the books is what? Elevation to Krishna Consciousness. So it is a progress in our consciousness. That is the real development. Development in one's consciousness rather than external mechanical development. That doesn't mean that we do not make buildings, cars, or function in this world. Of course, this is a world to function when we have got our functional operational duties and things to carry out. But through consciousness, we need to protect ourselves. And that consciousness has to be in tune with Krishna. And there is no higher joy than the joy of surrendering, than the joy of giving to someone, the joy of being used by someone. In very small glimpses, we experience or see this in our say material societal life also. When a boy gives his life to a girl or a girl gives herself to a boy, that joy. Or when parents give to their children, children gives to their parents, and surrendering teacher student sort of relationship. But that is all small glimpses to help us understand transcendence, eternity, and develop that desire that use this as a platform to transcend into transcendence. Otherwise, how do we overcome? We cannot leave our mind behind anywhere, no. We need to engage our mind, we need to channelize our mind. And scriptures say there are four states. Uh, One is sleeping state, deep sleep, sleep, wakefulness, and the fourth dimension is the Turiya Sthiti, which is a transcendental state or uh, say Brahma Jyoti level or even beyond. But what we are stuck is in heavily bodily identity. So much so that the body is rest, but in sleep the mind is active, the mind is still working. And who is it that which is witnessing? The super soul witnesses everything, and the soul also. But because the soul just wrongly misidentifies with body, with matter, with this world associates, then all the troubles come up. Shishikhorantai Mayapur Sashiki. And because Krishna does not associate with matter, Krishna does not know matter. For him, there is nothing matter. So Krishna does not get any agitated, overwhelmed. Matter means scarcity. Matter is going to tell us, okay, scarcity. Material world shows that there is scarcity. And wherever there is scarcity, then agitation, confusion, panic, insecurity will come about. Wherever there is scarcity. But for the soul, if one is fixed up in one's say, soul consciousness, then one will experience there is no scarcity. Or the real scarcity is this lack of Krishna consciousness only. So when one is a bit nicely, firmly settled in Krishna consciousness, one can at least theoretically or have some glimpse that actually there is no scarcity. And it says in that purport, right? Because the living entity is Brahman in quality, meaning spiritual in quality, has the potency to know things, to understand things. Hmm? He can remember the past activities of dreams and also know the present activities of wakefulness. It is such a blessing for us actually that we live in ignorance. Real blessing of Krishna that we live in ignorance. Otherwise, there would be riots happening. Riots would have taken by now. If we were if we were not able to forget our past, there would have been riots happening or confusion and confusion. Now, see, it is our ignorance that we do not remember our past lives, past activities, and past, say, family relations and bodily identities and those. So it is because of ignorance that we do not remember. So we are in a way disconnected or detached. Now, Krishna consciousness teaches us that apply knowledge and be detached. Work in a way applying knowledge. Now that understand that what is the relationship I share, even with my family members. Uh, What relationship? King Chitraketu's son, na, he tells, na, who mother, who father, which mother and which father. Which life are you talking about? Which mother and which father? So now for us, out of ignorance, we do not remember our countless of previous mother and father and countless of previous son and daughter as well, husbands and wives as well. And now in knowledge, we know, but whatever we have been facilitated or given, we should use it as a step to go into transcendence, to enter into transcendence. That is the purpose of Shastras or scriptures, to help us elevate from ignorance or information to knowledge, and then knowledge to wisdom, realized knowledge, practical knowledge, living the philosophy. There are many, when we go out distributing books, there are many like who come up to devotees sometimes and either give a donation or kind words, gentle words that are very nice. I appreciate what you all are doing. Very admiring. You all are bringing a positive change in the society. So admiration is good, but it does not really help one when until that admiration is not translated into devotional service, into acting. Many na, of say Indian origin get very enthused and inspired seeing devotees in Vaishnava attire and distributing books and doing Harinam. We really admire what you all are doing. And Bhagavad Gita is great. But Prabhupada or Krishna doesn't want us to be just at admiration stage. Then we need to go a bit further. Then, if I admire, then I must try to understand what it is all about. And even then, understanding what it is all about, I have to go through the process of Arjuna first admired or appreciated Krishna and said, opened up, Krishna had this dialogue. Then Krishna asked, have you understood this? Yes, I understand. And what does one do then? If understand, then act on it. It's not that I've understood and I leave it. So we try to act very smart that, oh yes, I understand Krishna consciousness. Of course, what are you going to tell me? I was born and raised in India. I know Bhagavad Gita. I know Krishna consciousness. Mm. But we don't act on it. It's like going for a job or a school or some. Do you understand the question? Yes, I understand the question, but I do not answer. I do not work. I do not. So everywhere theory is required. If you go in engineering, so much of theory there is to be theory in every field, law, doctor, college, and doctor study, medical study, and all. So do you understand the theory? Yes. Do you understand the practical as well? Yes. Now apply. Now do it. Otherwise, like nighttime also we get dreams, and daytime also we live in a dream world only, in a dream-like situation. And when will we come to reality then? When will we wake up to the reality? So this we should ask this question to ourselves: am I living in reality or am I living in illusion? Hmm? Am I living in a denial mode or a real mode? Do I deny the reality and accept the illusion, or accept the reality and deny the illusion? Where do I fit in? And this transition has to be made. And this can be made only when one takes shelter of the holy name, takes shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, or takes shelter of a devotee. Then one can actually understand that what I considered to be the real was actually illusion. And what is reality, I had no clue of it. And now I can somewhat understand. So throughout scriptures are aimed at humans only because human life is very valuable, very important. More important than actually human life is then sadhaka life, devotee life. Higher responsibility, even bigger responsibility. And this is expected this from a sadhaka that he should be Swarup Jagriti is the most important. Should be aware of his identity. This spiritual awakening is a must, otherwise, we cannot really progress in Krishna consciousness. If we want to avoid making Krishna conscious practice a mechanical process or a conditional process, then we have to search out our identity. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. What is my spiritual nature? What is my spiritual identity? And then, under good expert guidance, work over it. That is the whole purpose of sadhana, to come us to this platform to realize our real identity, who we are and whose we are. Really, Prabhupada gives this beautiful example on the potency of sound vibration. That a person, he's sleeping, he's in dream, and in sleep he's dreaming. He's dreaming that he's chased by a lion. Hmm? Or Prabhupada doesn't say like this, but say I'm trying to rephrase a bit, but hopefully I get the message correct. So, in a dream, a person he sees he's chased by a lion or chased by money. When he's chased by a lion, he feels he's very worried, fearful, scares. And when he's chased by money, he feels so happy. Wow, yes, money is coming. But when the dream is broken, he wakes up. He realizes, oh, I'm neither chased by lion nor I am in reality I am chased by money. Same. That was just my dreaming state. I was just dreaming. Uh, And in that dream, then I was either panicking or I was feeling very happy. But in actuality, that is nothing. Those are not true. Mm. Those are not real. So now I've waken up, and who am I? Okay, I'm a teacher, I'm a lawyer, I'm an engineer, I'm a doctor, and I must go now and participate. I must act. have a duty to perform. Likewise, when we come alive, awaken to our spiritual identity, then we will understand who we are, whose we are. And although then, because of our subconscious mind, impressions from previous lives, very strong impressions, samskars, swabhav, our nature inbuilt, such a dreaming and wakefulness could well be coming. But if I protect my identity, they will go away as passing clouds, as passing clouds. So it is of utmost necessity to protect, say, my consciousness or to protect my identity. How the society functions? The society functions what? By and large, in this way that we respect God, we respect God, or at the most we offer our duty to God. In the sense, once a week we may go to church, once a week we may go to temple. uh, So our, yes, it is our duty to respect God, to do our duty to worship God. So with God it comes like, okay, we become duty bound and we do it. And there's, when duty, there's an element like, okay, I have to do it. And when it comes to love, I love the material world. I love my attachments. I love my desires. I love my ideas. uh, I love my culture, ideology, thought process, everything. So I love heavily the material world, and when it comes to Krishna, okay, I do my duty. But it has to be the other way around altogether. We have to love Krishna more than we love ourselves, more than we love ourselves, and do and perform in this world just duty bound. Do our duty as a parent, as a student, as a teacher, as a in whatever role we are engaged, we just do our duty in this world, but love Krishna. And when we understand this art, when we live by this art, when we nurture this art, when we practice, eh, then will come a stage. Krishna will tell us, okay, fine, you have done all the worldly duties. Now you just are and left with loving me only. Hmm? Then everything will be out of love. Everything. One day, one of us could well be like 65, 70, 50, 40, whatever currently our age is. Say. Many plan, na? Plan your pension, plan your this. So how do we plan your retirement? How do we plan our exit from this world? And if not in this life, then in which life? This is all what our acharyas are teaching, saying as Jeev jago, Gora Chanda bole. Kota nidra jao maya, pisa chire kole. So, and it is, they are not just not leaving it there, na, that wake up, wake up. Okay, one may say, okay, fine, I understand what is illusion, but what do I do now? So Mahaprabhu says, na, Enechi Oshodi Maya. यही मंत्र लिए हरि नाम मंत्र. Mahaprabhu has brought this medicine for ultimate cure. So not only leave the past behind, but make a bright future. So it's Krishna consciousness is actually not an alternate engagement. It's not an alternate platform or an alternate idea or an alternate lifestyle or an alternate culture. Hmm. It's not like, okay, the mainstream culture is what we see on, say, high streets, and okay, as an alternative, if someone wants, there's this. No, actually, Krishna is consciousness is the real thing. It's the real culture, real engagement, real deal. It's the real participation. The alternate is what is happening in the mainstream. That is the alternate. That is the side business. That is the side thing. But Krishna consciousness is the real thing. This is where the cream or juice or life or substance is. So our attitude should never be okay. When it comes to God, now worldwide, it is observed that okay, out of formality or out of duty, I go to God and carry deep attachments. But it should not be. We should have our deepest attachments with God and live in this world duty bound only. So we are very potent, we are very powerful, we have got this capacity. We are spirit by nature, part and parcel of Krishna, qualitatively one. But because of misidentity, we get uh, material desires, dreams, and even in our wakefulness. So many speakers very nicely they encourage us on japa, right? Japa is what? 2 hours of japa. It should be done in a way that it should help me remember for next 22 hours of Krishna. But look, in that 2 hours of japa, even in that time, I am forgetting Krishna. So if I'm sleeping in japa or if I'm not awake and all, how can I be kind of in a good consciousness for the remainder duration of the day? So we should strive very nicely during the day, japa, reading, hearing, kirtan, whatever engagements, programs, preaching programs, and all. And then when we go to bed, that is what we should pray. That in daytime and in night time, in Ishopanishad, towards the end, one of the mantras says, right, that when the glaring effulgence is removed and all, that okay, um, in past whatever knowingly unknowingly I have done, please pardon me for my sins, and whatever knowingly unknowingly consciously unconsciously I have done as any good, please take it as devotional service, please accept it as devotional service. So we have to realize we are bankrupt altogether, we are bankrupt. So these prayers that okay, whatever I have done knowingly unknowingly, please take this as a devotional service. Okay, on this note, maybe if there are any thoughts, questions, or comments. Yes, sir. Hmm. 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 Attachment is very key to it. Attachments. It is because of those attachments then we do not see ourselves as neutral witness. We have our same. But like in a court of law, one is encouraged, okay, you just be a witness and share to your best capacity knowledge and just share the truth. And you are free, you are immune, just if you be the witness. Likewise, without having your any biased or unbiased sort of judgment or thought over it. Likewise, now the person, some activity has happened, but if he's not attached, if he's not got a hidden agenda and desire, then he can see as a witness. He can see, and he can help the court, he can help the judge. So super soul, he knows. He does not need as such any witness and all. But in life, if I can participate as a neutral witness or just like a witness, then I will be more in tune with the super soul. Then super soul is seeing, and I will be also able to see. Super soul will also say, look, are you also able to see this detachment from matter? So, like children, when we see children growing up, they are so attached to their say toys and games. But a grown up may say, okay, no, this is just your attachment, this is not good, you are going to break it and all. So because the grown up person is not attached and he's more in knowledge, So he can act as a neutral witness and be detached to it, and he can understand what is going to come. He can see from a distance and not really be affected or overwhelmed by it. But because I live with life with heavy attachments, I struggle to be then a witness. Attachments means having a say. I have got some ego say. Uh, So Krishna is free from ego altogether. He said, no, that do as you like. Now, could Krishna been in problem, or had he been a bit upset or agitated had Arjuna not fought? Krishna had already planned. Na? There was an arrangement. If you do not find someone else, will find Krishna can still what end result Krishna wants, it can still happen. Depends if I want to participate in it or not. So if I want to participate, I have to give my own ego, and I have to understand under the protection of Krishna. I have to give up my attachments. And this is why when sadhaka takes initiation, what is the otherwise the point of initiation as such? That when he takes initiation, then only like he surrenders himself or prepares himself to surrender to the lotus feet of his spiritual master. Then who is he? He's just like an instrument. He's just being used by the spiritual master. He has not got any personal attachments or personal ego, say, or should not have. And working in that direction. But like many in Europe, football is very popular. Hmm? But some those who are in female body say many of them do not like football. Now a big game of football could be happening, World Cup, France versus Argentina, say, but those who are not having any attachment to it and all, they are just seeing it as a witness, as a neutral witness. But otherwise, those who have got any desire, any egoistic association, uh, they then go so strong with it. They will spend endless nights in pubs discussing the strategies. Should be done, this should not be done. Who will win, who will not win. They will invest so much of their energy. But someone who is not attached, he will say, what's going on? Okay, 22 people are fighting over a ball, running here and there just for a ball. One is trying to kick a ball, another is trying to stop a ball. But look how life interesting. Now, mind likes magnification. Mind likes variety. Yeah. Mind likes uh, this different details or different say permutation combination. So now it's this giving a variety. Okay, France wears this sort of jersey, and England wears this sort of jersey. This coach, this team, this musket, stadium is set, the anthem, all the nitty gritties. So much so, say football is still like a 90-minute, and there is some sort of skill can be seen in terms of how to kick the ball, how to save the ball. But there is this board game, right? So many board games. One of the board games is what? Snake and ladder. Now, what brain is required to play snake and ladder? Any intelligence required in playing snake and ladder? Any brain? Any skill? What is required? Just a board, dice, and you throw the dice. So four people can play snake and ladder, or maybe more or less. Say four can play snake and ladder. Okay, you throw the dice, and next turn, next one's turn, and oh, am I getting the ladder or not getting the ladder? Am I being bitten by a snake or not? And am I being beaten by a another participant or not? Now so much variety. Okay, it's a simple board game. But when I associate with it, now I'm not witnessing the game. I'm participating in the game with an intent. Okay, let me win. Oh, there's only 100. Okay, this, let me come. And growing up, like I played snake and ladder, and I believe many of us would have played snake and ladder, and we get so involved, so attached, that if we lose, we feel crying, we feel very disturbed. Oh no, I'm not a good player, I lost. I've been losing three times continuously. My luck is not working enough. We lose. And if we win, we feel so confident or so elated. Yes, I won. I'm so happy. But what as such did we do? So everything, snake and ladder, and see, this is Even though something calamity materially is going to come, it will make its way somehow or the other. And any material joy, if it has to come credit, it will come somehow or the other. I may get depressed by losing a game of snake and ladder, and I may get so happy by winning a game of snake and ladder. And what substance is there? Nothing, almost nothing. But my mind associates. I have these desires and attachments, and then ego comes in. That is where I stop witnessing and I become more of an active participant. And Krishna wants us, if I can live like a witness, then yes, I will be free from success and failure. And only when I am free from the thought of success and failure, then only I can actually engage in pure devotional service or in a steady devotional service. Otherwise, I will be constantly beaten like a pendulum, sometimes to and fro, sometimes happy, sometimes sad, sometimes happy, sometimes. Krishna says, "I cannot use you, Baba." Okay, first tell me, are you happy today? Yes, okay, fine, then okay, I can use you today. Oh, are you sad today? Yes, I'm actually sad. Oh, so I cannot use you, then I have to find, yes, please, Krishna, find someone else. What is this? Sometimes happy, sometimes, how can I engage you? But once we are immune to this happiness and sadness, material, mundane, then Krishna says, yes, he's always available. I can use him. So if we the way we associate with this world is like actually we are not in bondage, but our mind makes us think yes we are in bondage. The way we associate. So now when we learn how to associate with devotees, we will cherish life, and then we can be an witness to material activities and be an active participant in Krishna Leela. But how currently? I just want to be a witness, maybe, okay, just on theory, on some surface, no Krishna Lila, but active participant in my material calculations, thought process, or with my, say, conditioning in Krishna consciousness. I still find there's scope there, there's leverage there, uh, provided we are taking good association and we want to grow and grow forever, further and further. Does this somewhat answer your question, Prabhu? Okay. Thank you, bro. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम महापुराण की शिला प्रभुपाद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी